This is going to be a follow-up exploration video of the Trigon 6, which I had very much fun with. And I think that we should prove that we can make the synthesizer play from everything to smooth sound to really brutal sounds. I recently discovered a very fun thing to do, is that we can use the sync oscillator to create a pretty rich harmonic patch. So let's start off with activating all the 3 sawtooth, and then we put the mixer level at a reasonable level, around let's say 12 or 1 o'clock. The program volume I want to crank up a bit, and we now should have something like this. We have 3 sawtooth, and how it works is that when we activate the sync oscillator 2 is that the pitch of the oscillator 2 will be force synced against the oscillator number 1. You normally want to have that like 1 octave lower than the one that it's I mean this one is the slave, now should be some octave above. And now when we are adjusting the pitch in a more dramatic way, we will change the harmonic content. You hear? And since we're hearing all the oscillators now, it would only be like this if we didn't hear the oscillator. I mean, if you didn't hear the other ones. But I want to add all the other ones to the mix. And then we can take the third one 1 octave down. And we can put it in a perfect fifth by turning the pitch at maximum. And then we can make the harmonic content on the second oscillator to be forced to be used by an LFO. So I activate frequency 1 and I increase the amount and the frequency then on the LFO. And then we can change the filter to shape the harmonics a bit. And we can do as I normally do, is that record a simple sequence. We can start from there and play around. Not the best recording, but whatever. And you can also add some additional distortions if you like by just turning this knob. We could try to use a triangle as a sub, like a sub oscillator. If you want to hit it a little bit harder, not harder perhaps, but we can add the chorus to fatten up the sound a bit. And if you looked at my following video, see that I prefer to have the mix level 30 and around 50 on each parameter. Let's see. Here, really fat sound. if you want to have a little bit more of extra, you can always use the polymod section. The polymod section is individual per voice card, so it's not like a global one. That's the whole point with the polymod. So for example, we can use the this would not be a good example of how the individuality would turn out good on this one, but for example we can add the filter, so getting it modulated by the oscillator 3 amount, which is the third oscillator here. This should theoretically open and close the filter in the oscillation movement of the oscillator 3, which would be very rapid. Without. And I'm going to increase a bit more. And we can listen to it without chorus, from 0 to going upward. Believe me when I say that the internal effects, some of them are actually really good that are built in. For example, the chorus is really nice, and the bucket brigade delay. I don't think that, of course, that every effect have their flavor. I mean, you can use your own choruses you have in your DAW, but this one's has a flavor that I actually like. By the way, we were using the 2-pole mode on the filter, so we can try to modulate it in 4-pole mode, also see how that sounds. Okay, enough of this patch. I think that we should move on and make another patch. Let's start from scratch. And I'm going to turn the program volume to maximum, and not to get too much mixer volume up. I actually would like to try to make one with 3 squares. And we can try to set them in different octaves. And now we can try to make something a little bit more interesting, that we can use the polymod to let's say that we should change the pulse width modulation on them, so we can try it on all 3. My bad, I mean we can try it on all 2, because that was limited to have pulse width modulation on 2 of them and not the third oscillator. That's something I didn't think about. However, we can use the filter envelope this time to modulate the pulse width. I don't think that this sound became that interesting actually. I think we start over again and we try to make something a little bit more clean and nice. I think we can be a little bit more creative now and try to make some arpeggio. Let's use the LFO to create pulse width modulation. To create some texture. have some noise. Change into 2-pole. Let's add some effects. Let's utilize the random flow and let it control the filter cutoff. And we can modulate the frequency of oscillator 1 with the third oscillator. Och simply filter. When we have it like this, we can try to change the feedback and drive. Adding some drive. Feedback. Distortion. Let's remove the effect. Advice is that if you have it on the random, the flow, and put it up in frequency at maximum, you basically get the noise as modulation source. That's how it sounds like if you have all the oscillators activated, the wave shapes. Easily getting overwhelming sometimes. wonder what we should create now. Perhaps we should see if we can make something a little bit interesting here. What I noticed is that if you use the LFO in Square and put maximum amount and modulate the pitch, you will end up with something like, I think, is it to like 1 or 2 octave up, I think. Let's try it on. Can be worth noticing, can be a fun thing to do. And as you might know, that if you put the pitch at maximum, it will be like 7 semitones, which makes a perfect fifth. Well, that could be some worth some interesting attention there. And really don't have any plans now what I should do. Let's try to start all over again and let like and we make some frequency modulation on this one, the first one. See if I turn up the volume on the first oscillator and then modulate the first oscillator frequency with the third oscillator. And what happens if we modulate the filter at the same time with it? That's the low setting of the oscillator if you want to make it behave like an LFO. And it has keyboard tracking, which means that higher pitch is played, the quicker it will modulate. Lower, slower. You can turn this off, so it will remain constant all over the keyboard when you play different pitches. Well, you can keep exploring this all day long, I guess. So I think that we are satisfied for this video of the second exploration part. So thank you for watching.